Yeah, since Standing wants to have a stream, I figured why not make my own. Um, I was gonna do a video earlier, but I decided to eat and do other things. But there's something I wanted to play. Somebody made a video, and I thought it was hilarious. But I have to find it because I've been watching stuff on YouTube as I typically do. And gotta watch a lot of stupid shit. Hold on. It was a few days ago. It was by the villainous Tulsa Doom, also Grand Ultimate Atheist, aka I don't know his other account. Was it this one? He was in his car. I think it's this one. I hate this fucking iPad. I ain't saying the Grand Ultimate Atheist villain. Because I watched this video and it's fucking hilarious. Shit. I was trying to click. I hit something. Hold on, folks. I hit something on here. Here we go. I don't know why is my little bell off? No, I don't want to update. I just want to play a fucking video. Can y'all hear this? I'm gonna put it right here, actually.
Phone, and I got to drive. So I guess I'm gonna pull a true empiricism right now. Hope y'all can. Yeah.
Got my Kool-Aid ready.
I'm out of this car. So, you know, my angle with true empiricism, the question he can't seem to fucking answer, honestly, is that, hey, where did intelligent design come from? Where'd it come from, homie? Huh? Like, where did the concept come from? Who come up with it? And come to find out is something I didn't even know. It was a lawyer. A lawyer? That don't sound like a biologist. True empiricism. That don't sound like a person who plays with Kool-Aids and cuts cells. Right? I'm tripping a little bit, y'all. So be charitable, please. I just want to yell and rant. Why can't this dude be honest about where the shit came from? He starts mentioning all these damn scientists. Well, hey, they were at the source of it. They came up with intelligent design, or they just some, people who came after the fact. Why does this dude do that? I don't understand. Why? Why does he waste his time? Just dodging, and it's not even good dodges. He's still getting hit by the damn ball. Why? I don't understand the motivation. What is it? I just want you guys to just believe. He said that shit last night.
I missed that.
He said, why won't you guys just believe?
I missed that whole hangout.
Why won't you guys just listen? He probably would have pulled his fucking hair out. That's funny in my imagination.
If somebody got that clip,
but
I want
God, just what the hell is he fighting for? What does he get? What's the fucking prize? What does he strive for? Like what? He fights so goddamn hard with his word games and his scripts. And he just says shit. You can tell he's reading. He's just like, what? Okay. Let me calm down a little bit. I got pictures rolled, y'all, so I can't really see chat. I'm sorry. But my dumb ass took the mount. My truck broke. I took it out of my wife's car and forgot to put it back in her car, which she was bitching about this morning. So I'm an asshole on 3-4 different accounts, but that's beside the point. I think I gotta go to Walmart anyway. I'm just gonna buy her a new fucking mount, and then that way I keep her old shit, and she can have some new nice, good smelling plastic fumes in her car that are pleasant to her nose. Honestly, about all the yelling and theatrics, why, man, fight so fucking hard? Like, I asked him yesterday, what is your theories derived from intelligent design produced? And he even ignored those questions. I'm like, what treatments, what's come from it? Evolution, from my rudimentary understanding, has a great effect on most of the other biological sciences. So, what is intelligent design produced? Has any understanding of it produced some Jesus foot medicine? Like you touch him, pull on his clothes, right? Any Jesus foot? Anything like that? You just touch him on the foot and you instantly cured. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure some people with some diseases would love to have something like that. Like, what is it made? True and pure. What are you doing, you asshole? Are you trying to cut me off from behind? The hell? We can't fucking go, guys. Shit. Hey, lady! What are you doing? You fucking plate of fucking food! Why are you driving with a full fucking plate of food? People just do anything while I'm on the phone yelling at her and I got a goddamn phone in my hand. Hypocrisy! Of the utmost level! Alright, I'm just clowning, y'all. I'm cool. You know what, man? My wife gave me some fucking tea this morning. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I know what's in that shit.
I know what's in there.
Some lemon, I know that much. But goddamn, I'm kind of on 10. Calm down. Fucking, I don't drink tea very often. Maybe something.
The creator of this video is in the chat right now.
Nah, boy, you ain't gonna get a beat. I got that Bearcat engine. Bear chasing that cat all over the guy. Yeah, I don't understand true empiricism, bro. Oh, yo, ma'am, I don't get it. I don't understand why. I still was what I do in the city. I ain't going that fast. I need to at least do 70. Fucking speed limits might crack me right in the ass. Come on, don't do that. Don't cut in front of me like that. Thank you. You know what? I really need to cut this shit off. I just can't look down and punch the damn buttons and cut it off. I'm really done. What is it at that I can't concentrate. And I watched part of it. You deleted that fucking hangout. But when G-Man came on, I just lost interest on his fucking weight loss and shit. I lost interest in that. Like, I don't need weight loss advice from these fuckers, man. They have me eating fucking shit. They gonna have you eat some shit and they gonna think the Russians killed you, man. It's gonna be fucking radioactive as fuck. These motherfuckers don't know what they talking about. They just like hearing themselves say, oh, you can't hold that lane, can you, motherfuckers? That curve. While you out here, if you can't drive, you should be over there in the local slow side for the old people. I don't understand why this guy be clowning like that. I really don't get it, man. But he really was getting frustrated with us in chat. He will not buy the bullshit, right? I keep saying it, man. These religious people want to turn you out. Because there's always something they want from you. Anybody trying to convert your ass wants something from you. And if you want all the things I've listed many times before, then you should be able to be like, hey, here it is. And I've asked very basic fucking questions to these guys, man. They want fucking, they want to ask everybody. They want to be the questioners. They want to be whoever the fucking, they want to be the interrogator. They want to answer no goddamn questions. Simple ones. Hey, the shit you're talking about, who made it up? You didn't make it up. If you can't do that, bro, like, what the fuck you argue to anybody? What up? Come on, man. I don't know what this cat's job is, man, but it can't be anything where he's actually producing anything for anybody, man. He's just a fucking, I don't know. I don't know what the guy's job is. I make shit.
I'll tell you later.
It's useful. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what, so he doesn't have the mindset. Anytime I gotta fucking build something, I gotta look how. Did anybody else do it before and why? You know what I'm saying? If it's built a certain way, why? This guy doesn't want to know the fucking why. He doesn't care about the fucking whys. Why is this like this? I'm interested. I have to be. To some degree. This guy just wants to spout the bullshit. His argumentation. I keep hearing it. A fucking argumentation. Bro, okay. You have an argumentation. What the fuck does it produce?
Good question.
What the fuck? Damn. I got all wet up there. Fucking police and shit. I don't know, man. I'm just making a this goddamn tea has got me fucking energized, man. What the hell? Felt like, I'm a sluggish all fucking day, man. She gave me this fucking tea. She ready to fucking headbutt a moose. I don't know what the fuck is wrong, man. I feel that.
It's about a minute left. So anyway, that was from let me say his whole name. And Grand Ultimate Atheist Villain. He's in the chat right now. I saw that video and I was like, I thought it was fucking hilarious because I like to listen to people's videos too, occasionally. So critically undersubscribed guy. He's been watching this for a while, like a lot of y'all. He's been watching this just from the sidelines. He's just slowly kind of getting into it and trying to articulate a lot of the things that many other people have said before. Like, well, for one thing, what's the fucking point? But there's nothing that he's asking here is outrageous. But one of the title of this particular video is "Why do you even bother?" And it's not for the CCP members. It's not for Truth. That's a question that I get asked, and me and Sam, Rational Mind, and CRISPR, and some of the other guys. Why do you guys even bother? And I think people, some of the folks, think I'm joking when some of us laugh about just the level of disparity that exists between, let's say, Nephi and Rational Mind. I wouldn't even put myself in there because I got scolded by Rational Mind earlier for not knowing something I should have known in the discussion, which he was right for. But and by the way, I'm mentioning that with a purpose, hint, hint. So when you think about where Nephi is, and not to make this too personal, but when you think about the level of disparity between someone in the graduate level education in the biological sciences, specifically in kind of evolutionary biology, and you have someone like Nephi who can barely, he has about the same number of brain cells as he does teeth. So there's a clear disparity between their level of knowledge and ability to articulate arguments to begin with. So when we have these conversations, a lot of it ends up going way over everyone's head. And that's something that a lot of us know. There's very few people who understand exactly what's being referenced. Nephi is known for offering obscure references to stuff that's many decades old, and he does that purposely because he's doing something called point scoring. And the conversation that I had earlier with someone on the phone, someone who watches all this, I referenced a few things that I think it'll be good if I kind of reference it again and maybe explain myself a little bit more. By the way, if you are a Patreon, I will be doing a special Patreon-only video of you guys' choosing. So if you've not seen the update or the question that I put on there earlier, you might want to go check it. So with that being said, now, if some of you guys watched that video where, for whatever reason, me and CRISPR decided to stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning discussing these topics that he and I know pretty well with people who are quite literally scientifically illiterate, you have to wonder, well, why do you guys even bother? For one thing, it's entertainment for us. It's interesting for me and on a personal level because I get to recall stuff that I've not used in a while. Amongst all the chemistry and all the biological sciences and some of the biotechnology techniques that I have to learn, a lot of this stuff, especially from molecular genetics and the stuff that I learned in my previous genetics course, gets kind of washed under. So it gives me an opportunity to practice. I'm not going in there to try and score points, which I'll explain in a minute. I'm going in there to, for one thing, there's a few people who requested that I go in there. So I said, well, fine, whatever. And because it is somewhat entertaining, because CRISPR and I can make little snide comments in the side chat where nobody else can see it, and it's hilarious. So that's some of our motivations. It is genuinely hilarious to hear people who honestly know dick all about these topics try to tell us what is in the literature or what's being taught in schools, as if they have actually been to school, as if they've actually read any of the literature. We know that they haven't. It's demonstrably, provable. I'm sorry. Like if you can't back what you're saying via the literature, why are you referencing it? Would be the first question. Second, we all know that Nephi could not afford enough to actually go to any kind of college, And I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about mentally. By no means do I think that any of these guys are so cash-strapped or destitute that they could not go to school. In fact, I think all of them could if they actually put their minds to it. And some of them are probably capable of maintaining a decent GPA. I wouldn't doubt, well, save for a few. But the point that I'm making is that the issue comes in where you have people who are gearing their free time around finding enough obscure, off the beaten path information to try and score points in the conversation to try and win converts. And so, like the villainous Tulsa Doom was saying, you know, people who are trying to convert you, they're trying to get something from you. Well, I don't know. Maybe there is some type of, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe people find this cathartic on that side. I don't know. Maybe they find like this is their niche, and so they're going to go forth and try and spread what they think is the truth. Well, if you look at who's in a better position, if the people like us who are actually somewhat scientifically literate, and then the people who are on the opposing side who are going against mainstream science, but then ironically referencing what mainstream scientists say and the scientific consensus at the same time. Well, I don't get that one. But you think about who's in a better position to change minds, and you have to ask yourself, what exactly do you guys think that you're doing? Huh? What type of people are you reaching? Now, let me actually go a little bit into the point scoring, because now that I've kind of laid that groundwork, and by the way, Mutable, you can tell that I'm live, because I'm not going to go mess with them. I'd rather go put my dick in a blender for right now. Maybe later. When you're actually having these conversations, there's two parts. And after having these types of conversations for years, I've kind of come to the conclusion that most of these, you'll call them dialectics, have two major parts. Now, you could kind of split that into little subcategories, but for simplicity's sake, I want to split them into two parts. And I don't have any fancy names yet. I might do that, but I don't feel pretentious enough to make a whole flow chart and put it up on Twitter and pat myself on the dick. So you can say on this part, you have the knowledge base, right? So you can have a vast, comprehensive knowledge of whatever the topic is. We'll say in this case, biology, specifically biological evolution, right? You know more than factoids. You know how morphology does differ from anatomy, but you know how it then comports to what we find in geology, how then physics plays a role in the radiometric dating. You know about the geochemistry that's involved, you know, this, that, and the other, that kind of all meshes very well together into whatever literature you're actually reading at the time. And then you're able to have an organic conversation where you can extend yourself towards your level of knowledge and not just simply pontificate because you like hearing yourself talk, right? And then there's a second part, the actual dialectic happening. You understand how these conversations happen. And well, Jack, what do you mean? I hear the conversation. I see the conversation half the time. What are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that if you're talking, if I'm making references to a kinetochore, people have heard me just prance, that out every so often. No one knows what the fuck that is, besides maybe 5 people watching my videos at any given time know what that is. And the ones that do are asking why I'm even bringing it up. So then I have to explain why. It's a red herring. But it's a red herring with a purpose. So when you're hearing Nephi and some of these other guys, and I've talked about this before, they all have their own style. They all have their own technique into having the conversation, because I can talk to you all here and I can explain to you kind of what a kinetochore is and what it does. But where does it actually play a role in the conversation? Well, what does any of the things that they bring up have to do with whether or not biological evolution is true? Think about that for a second. What are some of the things that were mentioned in the previous hangout? Coccoliths. What the fuck is a coccolith? Many people may ask. What does it have to do with chalk, you may ask? What does it have to do with this, that, and the other? Any of the things that, especially for Nephi, that gets brought up is trying to simply poke holes in mainstream science. That's one of his main goals. That's one of his objectives. A short-term goal. Long-term, the long-term battle plan is to say that science, as we know it, as taught by secular mainstream science, is inconsistent upon itself, and I'm going to utilize their own evidences against them in order to show my audience this. That's Nephilim Free in a nutshell. If you actually go back and look up the stuff that he's talking about, Nephi can barely fucking pronounce the stuff to begin with, much less accurately represent it. So now, how does that play in his favor? Well, who before anyone's ever even mentioned this thing, this coccolith, has even heard of it? That's a strength. If you are a young Earth creationist and you're listening to someone like Nephi, you're listening to someone like True, and you've never heard of a ATP Shintage or a coccolith, it sounds cool. Man, these guys know stuff. It appears as though they have the shibboleth to talk to these guys who are going to school for this stuff. They're on par with one another. Man, oh man, that guy mentioned a coccolith, and they had to pause and ask him what that was. To someone who's very uneducated, that seems like a win. That seems like this person has more knowledge, and it's actually pretty clever, and I give Nephi points for this. But what Nephi doesn't understand is that some of us have been playing this game just as long as he has. And that's when, towards the end, he got very embarrassed when I asked him how would he go about finding the information for the very thing that he wanted to discuss for over an hour, which was haplotypes. Nephi, for some reason, skipped the part where you had to find the mtDNA, the mitochondrial DNA, in order to even establish the haplotype to begin with. He began talking about alleles being washed out and this, that, and the other. And it's like, if you actually do understand anything about haplogroups of mitochondrial DNA, it don't work like that. That's why CRISPR and I started laughing quite profusely at the end of the hangout, to which CRISPR made the joke about them being wiped out by a group of Amazons. Still, Nephi didn't seem to get this because, again, we're coming into contact with that whole Dunning-Kruger thing. He has no idea just how bad he came off in that scenario. Probably why Standing for Truth had to cut up the video. But that's fine. If their goal, and you have to always pay attention to folks, the venue in which these conversations is had. You're not going to find too many conversations or too many of these guys coming on our channels or coming on channels that aren't geared towards filling the minds of young Earth creationists or potential young Earth creationists. That's their goal. They're trying to find theistic evolutionists to say, look, you guys are believing in this stuff, but we've done our research. None of these guys have a college credit to their name in the biological sciences or chemistries or whatnot, but they would have folks believe that they're knowledgeable from doing some Google food. And it's quite clever. I have to give that to them. But that's why I make myself somewhat readily available to have these conversations, because it's almost inevitable that they will be embarrassed. Now, I don't gear my education towards any of these conversations. In fact, I end up learning a few things about certain things about genetics, certain things about different fields that may somewhat be associated with what I do, not really. Some things about geology that are cool that I didn't know what a mega sequence was, or I'd heard of it and referenced it years ago when I first went to university, but I'm not a geologist, so what the fuck do I care? So that's the interesting part of the conversation for me personally. But for these guys, these are just tools. You can think of it like an armory. If you have a different tool for a different bout or a different fight, then that makes you more of a contender. But having a bunch of tools isn't as great as being a master of any of those tools. The problem would come where, and some of you all can think about this and actually challenge, do you actually think that these guys, had they not been on a particular venue, or had they not been the ones to present their arguments and have us try and defend it, do you really think that if, let's say, let's just make up, I don't know, we'll just pick a neutral channel, right? We'll have CRISPR start off on them and questioning their knowledge about a particular topic. Do you really think that they would last more than maybe 20, 30 minutes? It's not going to look very well. It's very easy for us to pick things in our field that they know nothing about. But why do that? That's not entertaining. That is something, that'd be a dick move. Because at the end of the day, we're playing kickball with toddlers. We're playing pigeon chess. and they're shitting all over the board, and we're trying to clean it up as fast as possible. So, all in all, I can tell you that CRISPR, at least, gets a little bit of joy out of talking to these guys, just out of the sheer excitement of seeing them try their hardest to argue against the very science that they are trying to also use in the conversation as evidence. That the struggle and the stammering and the stuttering that you hear in their voices brings them a bit of joy. Maybe CRISPR's just a creepy motherfucker. I don't know. As someone who also enjoys some things of that nature, I can't be mad at him. But it is what it is. But one of the things that I had mentioned ages ago was that through these conversations, people do tend to learn. People tend to kind of look up things on their own. And I would implore people to continue to do that. But with that being said, it does get tiring. The only reason I was even up for that many hours was because I couldn't sleep. Because the night before I'd stayed up because Mrs. Drag had a little bit too much to drink. But that's okay. If you guys saw, y'all saw my video where I was inebriated. Actually, I need to hide that video, or not hide it. Whoops! I almost said what True Empiricism does. I'm actually going to put that one on Patreon. That'll just be something for y'all to enjoy. Yeah, that one was a little harsh. That one, I shouldn't have been as mean. I was going to make another video because good old Brett Keane responded under one of my videos randomly. It wasn't that one, but it was another one where I was in here discussing, who was it? I think it was a psychoanalysis of, that air quotes, of True. I think that's the video. And it was just a one-word response and it was dull. And I can't tell you how insulted I felt by a man who I've seen probably lay prone 90% of the time I've ever seen an image of him. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to offer an insult like I normally do, but the fact that he's Brett Keane is insulting enough. Like there's literally nothing that I can say that other than Brett Keane has to breathe Brett Keane when he wakes up in the morning. That's it. My heart goes out to your mattress springs and the mites that live on it. They have to live with you, and I don't. So, but anyway, Brett, man, I know you watch my videos now. So, if you want to have a discussion about, I don't know how you stay buoyant on a mattress that long, feel free. I'm available now. I'm not in school right now. I got a few weeks to kind of just relax, make some more videos. If you want to talk about the best type of beanies to wear out around your head, I mean maybe the best recipes for chili mac, or I don't know, how to scare away a wife. Like whatever you want to talk about, Brett, I'm open. I am more than willing, and I promise I will be on my kind of sort of best behavior. I'm not going to make any promises because, well, you're not really the most cordial person, your fucking self. So I'm not going to make any promises that I'll be better than you in a conversation. But you get what you get. What was Ozzy's dictum again? What was it? I'm nobody's bitch. No. What was the other one? What did he say? Shoot him behind the ears, the arteries there. No, it wasn't that one. Oh, we all get the conversation we deserve. That's what it was. That's what. Sorry, I forgot it. That's one of my favorite Ozzy dictums, and the word dictums because it sounds like dick. So that's something that I think is very true. I think we all get the conversation we deserve. Nephew wants a cordial conversation, a debate, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But like, there's a reason you don't see a lot of conversations happen with good old Neff. He can't shut his fucking mouth. I don't need a history of what he thinks is the Bible or what he thinks happened in science. I don't care. If we're having a conversation about morphology versus anatomy, I don't care who did what in 1876. I don't give a fuck. I can go look that up later. I think that maybe that's just the old man thing where he just needs to hear himself talk to feel important because he's a nobody in real life. But I think that's a lot of people here. That's a lot of people. And so Neffy needs to talk in order for him to kind of stave off that existential crisis that's going on in his head. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm just offering what I think. And I might offer more about what I think later. Hint, 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 hint. So if we got to sit through that, then it's like, okay, well, at least if we're going to be patient with your ass and listen to your old man rants about what people did, 40, 50 years ago is not even relevant to the topic. At least have the decency not to interrupt people every 2 fucking seconds, because this is a classic nephewism. And I had to thank Standing for Truth for sucking Neffy off and not controlling him. If he's going to interrupt me and everyone else, I'm going to interrupt him, because I'm not going to sit through him meandering through the annals of what he thinks is scientific history for 30 fucking minutes, only to have him interrupt me 2 minutes in. That's not going to happen, because I will whip out one of my fucking textbooks in there, and y'all seen my textbooks. They ain't fucking thin books. I'll read through that motherfucker. I have no problem. I'll go get some beer and we can do it. But who wants that? That's not a free-flowing conversation. That's us listening to a fucking almost toothless geezer in fucking Mississippi who don't know his ass from a hole in the ground tell me about fucking science. When it's like, what, bitch? I'm sorry. One of us here has a pathway to success in science and being actually cemented in the annals of fucking science. And yet you are getting what now? Huh? The only thing that you're studying is sobriety. Okay. So when you get on my level, then maybe we can actually talk as peers. Not really, never. But I like to put that out there. That's fine. So what, and I actually forgot what I was supposed to bring up. Y'all know that? Y'all almost, God damn it, may forget what I was going to bring up, because I was going to say something about something that was actually connected to this. God dog, I'm talking, what is, God damn it. I was going to bring up something too. It wasn't about Brett Keane. It wasn't about Standing for Truth. I think it was about Neffy. And something that he does that it's not him putting me to sleep. Because if you do have trouble sleeping, go listen to Neff. Go listen to him. It's not ASMR, but it's close enough to being ASMR. So you can kind of sort of, you do what you gotta do. But the interesting thing and I still haven't remembered what I was going to bring up. I'm just kind of shifting topics. The interesting thing to hear from folks, at least for me, are to hear people's feedback who aren't directly involved in these conversations. And when I mean directly involved, I mean people who, they'll say something in the side chats every so often before they get banned. People who have easy access to me. Okay, hold on. Let me check the message. Hold on. Oh, I think I saw that music video. Yeah, about Brett King. Oh God. Oh. Go ahead and put that link out there for people to get a good laugh dance. But oh, you made me lose my whole train of thought. Now I want some chili mac. Yeah, an individual situation now. Oh, this is why I can't check messages in the middle of the street, because I lose my train of thought. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, if you haven't know, I've been on Twitch. Since this platform is kind of going away, I'm trying to diversify. So if you don't have me on Twitch, you probably should. What was I gonna say? Oh, so the feedback that I get from people who are just kind of realizing what's going on is probably the most hilarious thing to me. And not hilarious, not me laughing at them, but hilarious because they're picking up on things for the first time. If you didn't tune in earlier at the beginning of this, I was playing the villainous Tulsa Doom, also known as Grand Ultimate Atheist Villain. I was playing one of his recent videos where he's just now having that watershed moment where he's kind of figuring out kind of what true empiricism's motives are, and that when you ask him a direct question that's related to his direction, his position, I don't know what you want to call ID, but pretty much asking him about ID, like very straightforward. There's no beating around the bush, none of that stuff, and he can't get a straight answer. And to kind of see that for the first time with other people is very fascinating to me, because it's happened to all of us until when we thought like he built this up. as if it was something to marvel. And at the end of the day, you can't. And I offer people this challenge, and I've said this to True. If he wants us to call his position, arguments, whatever, science ID, then you can Google. He Googles stuff all the time. So I don't know why he can't Google this. Go to Google Images and type in experimental design worksheet. They got stuff for high schoolers like this. I'm not even joking. You can type that in, go find any of them, go fill it out for ID, and put a screenshot, make a video doing it. I want to see that. And I would like to discuss that. Like, it's no, like, all bullshit aside, all bullshit aside, I would like him to do that. And it's not a trick, it's not a joke, it's not a, me being mean or any of this other kind of stuff that, that people want to say, which I agree that a lot of that's true. But when I offer something like this, and when people approach him, without all the bullshit, he gets upset. And it's one thing to say, you know what, I don't feel like dealing with that. But then you see he gets irritated, like he gets really defensive, and it goes from getting defensive to being irritated to being pissed off because you're asking this question. Well, you have to think about something. Well, why would someone get upset by you asking them to explain their position, right? And then to the point, like I said, I didn't see this, but several people told me about this video that he had did, and of course the Jersey retard was in there too, and talking about fitness as if, I'm sorry, Dirty Dick Dan, no one's going to take your fucking fitness advice if you can't keep your own shit clean. But he's upset, right? Because people are asking him direct questions that he's not prepared to answer. Well, it's like, oh, hold on for a second. And here's the irony about that, and some of you may or may not realize this. When he gets upset like that, remember back when you see him in conversations. And he loves finding new secularists, new evolutionists, so he can trot out ATP synthase. Now, if you're trying to get the jump on someone, you're trying to sharpshoot folks with ATP mayonnaise, and they don't get defensive with you because they don't know about it, why are you getting defensive with people about something you should know about when they're asking you about it? Now, think about that for a second. How many people have flipped out on him about ATP mayonnaise when he, on the other hand, gets mad for someone asking, hey, who came up with this stuff? Who came up with this ID stuff? Hey, what's the falsification criteria for this stuff? What's your hypothesis? What are some of the stuff that you use to test, ID? Some very pertinent questions, very, very, very germane questions, right? So you have to wonder what's going on up here. You have to really wonder what's going on if that's how they react to you. Do you really want to have a conversation with them? But no, it's everyone else's problem. It's everyone else's fault. Everyone else is being mean and this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, it is, look, you cast aside all the bullshit. You have a group of folks, and they're going to be mad when I say this. You have the Brett Kings, you got the Trues, you got the Jersey retards, you got the Neffys and the Standing for Truths, and all these other cats who are too lazy and too stupid to go to school and to get an education and to be out there and actually put themselves out there like subject matter experts. That's the fucking truth. That's the absolute fucking truth. All of them are too dumb and too lazy to do it. I mean, y'all can be as mad as you want to. I'm saying it because I came from the same place y'all did, not having a whole lot of knowledge to the point I am now, which I still ain't shit, but I'm on my way. At least I'm doing something. So what's your excuse, right? What's your excuse? They might be poor. Well, I've been told by True that he can go to school for free because he's a Native American, a punky Indian, or whatever, punchy idiot. I don't know the tribe. I'm sorry, I'm black. I don't memorize that shit. If it ain't Cherokee, I don't. Jeep Wrangler, I don't know what the fuck it is. I have no idea. So that's what he's told people before. He's told me that, and so because he actually responded to some of my fucking jokes about going to school by saying shit like that. So it's according to him, he can go back to school, and according to him, he makes some good money. So at least for him, it just seems to be a motivation thing. So that to me, that to me says a lot. Like, why not put yourself in the best position when you get on the internet, though? And this is what kills me. You get on the internet and pretend like you're actually doing something. You're pretending like when you're talking to people who are in these fields and are actually in labs and shit like that, that you're not going to convince them. You know that. I know I'm never going to convince any of these cats because they're too dumb, right? It's for an audience. It's ultimately for those people who are on the fence who don't know a lot about this and say, well, you know what? I heard what this guy said and it sounded good. And so I'm going to go with his position. Perfect example is, does anybody remember when Becca would be in the hangout with some of these guys, just sucking them off? You remember how he would talk about the discussion? Because he can't actually speak as to the content. He would never speak about any of the specific points being made, ever. Because he can't follow. He doesn't have enough, mental currency to expend on trying to discern what this person's position is as opposed to this person. He somewhat understands the major thesis of his side, and he knows that, well, whatever the other guy is just, antithetical to whatever his buddy is. He knows that much. But as far as the points being made, he can only repeat certain things, certain words, because, again, he's not that fucking bright. And, again, he knows that. He can be mad at that, too. But when he talks about it, he talks about who was able to articulate themselves a bit better. But he's very careful about how he even says that, depending on who had the conversation. Because if it's Neffy, he will remark more about how Neffy articulated it. But if he's talking about some of his buddies who are less articulate, it is, well, the opposition was stuttering and stammering and they didn't know how to answer his question. The qualitative assessment that he gives has nothing to do with the content. It's about how people appeared. And I think that's very important that people pay attention to that. When you're hearing these guys talk about who did what in the conversation, the Ken Ham and Ken Hovind debate and anything like that. Anything, because now there seems to be an uptick on talking about discussions or debates between people or whatever. Listen to what these guys say. Listen very, very, very closely. Listen to what they're saying. And again, it's a strange coming from me because I tune them the fuck out too. But it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Yes, it is sort of a seasonal thing. When there's a lull in the drama, different things are being tried out. And so now we're getting back to kind of the reviewing content, reviewing the reviewing of the content saga. And then now, well, actually that was before. So now we're making a transition back into actually engaging with one another. But they're not really open engagements because, don't get me wrong, as hilarious as it is to talk to some of these folks that's standing for truths and the Neffys, there's a goal in mind. There's a reason why Standing has tailored his videos the way that he has. He's cut them up the way that he has. He's trying to grow his channel for Young Earth Creationists because we gain nothing out of these conversations. Nothing at all. We actually legitimize people like Neffy, people like Standing for Truth and all these other fuckheads from our presence. And so because we do know some science and they are self-taught, that invigorates the next potential generation of fucking illiterate fuckheads that don't know anything, that want to then go out and do the same thing. Because here, you too can be here and fight against these supposed college graduates with degrees and yada, 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 yada. Listen to the way that they talk. Listen to the things that True says. Listen to the things that Neffy says. When they're kind of like bloviating about their successes and their accolades. Oh, I've spoken to this PhD. I've debated this guy. He has a PhD. When you listen to that stuff, look at where they're placing the emphasis on. They're not placing the emphasis on the fact that, you know what, we had a great conversation. They want to talk to me again. They were seeing my point. You know, I learned something too. Not the kind of stuff that you expect to hear. It is the fact that they got the audience is a win in and of itself. That's what it is. And that's interesting to me, folks, because I talk to people with PhDs all day long. It's nothing special. They're people too. You know, there's a few of them that are interested in what I do here, actually. It's a select few, but some of them are actually very curious, and we laugh. And I've actually shown one of them some of the videos here. I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say what, but it's funny when you have people who are very well educated looking at some of these videos and looking at some of the things that these guys are saying, and it's hilarious because they are so far flung from academia or anything even remotely related to being, you know, coherent or factual, that they live in their own world. And it's almost amazing that they can function on a day-to-day basis. But, you know, that's just that's my thoughts on that. I find it miraculous, but then I had to take a step back because, hell, I'm functional, you know, outside of this. Because there's been, you know, talk from the CCP members, how does Drag go about his everyday life being who he is? Well, one thing, I'm fucking awesome. That's how. I don't really change at all. Like, obviously, I'm just called random people fuckheads. Not as much in person, but there's a difference between being competent and being a little eccentric, and then being incompetent and then just being batshit crazy. There's a space for the former group, not necessarily the latter. But that's something that kind of, again, points to their inability to see the world around them for what it really is. But on that note, folks, I've had enough. I am full on shrimp and grits, thanks to Mrs. D. I got my Kool-Aid. Oh, my ice over here melting too. But yeah, look forward to maybe some discussions in the future. I will talk to Diego Gamara and see if I can get him on this week and we have an open discussion, because I know folks have been waiting to have some open discussions. I think there was talk of a journal club. So I would love for some of these CCP members who love to run their mouth to come and just talk some science. I would love for Nephi and Standing for Truth to come and join us and actually talk about science. You know, hey, let's do it. True, you want to do reviews of Lawrence Krauss? Hey, when we just sit down and talk about some science. So if y'all got some more videos, because I want to hear from you guys. Like, I could sit here and monologue for an hour. Y'all know I can fucking talk. I can sit here for 3 hours and monologue. But I'd rather hear from other people. I'd rather hear what other people think, because that's kind of why we're here. That's kind of, you know, the point of there being multiple videos and channels. I don't know why I'm whispering. I just decided to. Probably because my little brother's really loud. He has headphones on. Maybe. So anyway. Yeah, I saw the Thunderfoot refuted thing. I might do a review of that. I don't know. It depends how I'm feeling. I might just play it while I'm playing Fallout or something. I don't know. But it's just, man. So on that note, folks, I'm going to probably go listen to some Ting Ting ASMR and lay down and rest my weary bones and go find a nice present for the missus when she's sleeping. So any last comments, folks? Pretty much only need to watch the last half. Gotta go to work. Oh yeah, you are on the weird side of the world called non-America. Yeah. Let's try to mess around with that Filmora. What is that? The program called Filmora. It's like a video editing program. So it, for some reason, it can't do MP3s. I don't get that. What video editing program doesn't do MP3s? I don't. So I'll be on the lookout for that and probably try and do some video editing, just to have a little variety. So instead of me being lazy and just pressing the live button. Yeah, I use VLC Media Player to convert the MP3 to MP4. And I keep getting the same error that the file format's not converted. So I'm going to double check and make sure I did it right. But VLC, last time I checked, had a very simple UI, and I thought I did it right. So I'm going to check it again. But, so. Handbrake is a converter I use. Handbrake. What's going on? Yeah, hey man, I'm about to end this. I'm about to end this. So, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, I played the Villainous Tulsa Dune video. If y'all not subscribed to the Villainous Tulsa Dune, he is up and comer trying to get in the game. And I like to shout out people's channels. Looks like Oldby Jack playing Forza for 50,000 hours a day. Shout out to Oldby Jack. If y'all are just catching this later, go ahead and link your motherfucking channels, folks. Go ahead and link your motherfucking channels. The Firefly Converter app, Media Converter, and Mixer. You mean? Oh, it's probably Mixer because the U is next to I. So I might just get a brand new video editing program, because the one I have, I think, is stupid. I don't know. I'll talk to Nate to see which one he has. I think he actually got rid of Filmora. I had to talk to him, or see which one that Imp uses. I know Imp has one, because he makes videos. Well, he records videos and then does some editing to them, and then he has it on, I think, a scheduled upload or something like that. So he got his stuff all set out because he has a real job in life. So, yeah. So anyway, might get back and do some fishing now that school's out. Actually, now that I think about it, I need to contact my advisor / mentor. We got some research to do. Yeah, yeah, man. EA's in a lot of stuff. He's in a lot of stuff. But if y'all have any ideas for the 3 Black Heathen show, definitely let us know. Because I'm trying to be proactive and have the preview video stuff out there early, but you know how that is. So on that CPT. If you are a Patreon, definitely go on there, and I put some content up there recently that should stay on Patreon, and I put a question up there for y'all folks. So yeah. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later.